you this. What completely surrounds us? We can taste it, yet we can't always digest it. We can see it, but we can't always recognize it. We can hear it, but we can't always understand it. Anyone? Bueller? Bueller? When I utter the term culture, in our mind's eye, we envision anthropologic images of different countries, people of diverse backgrounds, of different faiths, all in one melting pot. We also have to recognize that culture is much more than that original term that defines a classification of different cultures and backgrounds. It also describes a bind that ties together individuals that may have different beliefs, but the same beliefs, same belief systems, same passions. And those people also are a culture. And sometimes those cultures are just as strong as those people who have similar ethnic backgrounds or religious faiths. Then the problem with understanding culture is that many times, as an outsider perceiving a different culture, you can only scratch the surface or the tip of the iceberg that makes up the larger whole of a culture. This tip of the iceberg analogy is commonly used to basically describe the perception that is different. What it doesn't address is the underlying histories, traditions, teachings that are passed down from generations to generations that make up and shape the differences that are only viewed at the very surface level. Let me help to explain a little bit of this. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have immigrants that come or hail from an Asian culture, and they come over and they live here in America. Sure, they can conquer the language barrier eventually, but what will be lost on them are the specific nuances of the American language. Things that are part of the pop culture that are so simple to us who are born here in the US, but are completely lost on them. You mentioned the term, time to go make the donuts when you leave early for work. Completely lost. I can't tell you how long my parents actually thought that our neighbors worked for Dunkin' Donuts, and they were actually going to make the donuts because it was a common greeting that our neighbors used. Time to make the donuts. Sure, why not? The iceberg, the tip of the iceberg, is also very useful in explaining scenarios where an attempt at making a change in culture at the very surface level doesn't work because they ignore the bottom underlying truths. At the very height of when technology allowed us to change analog music to digital music and allowed us to share digital music very freely, there came the problem and the culture of piracy. The Recording Industry Association of America, or RIAA for short, tried to combat this with many multi-billion-dollar lawsuits, and they failed because they tried to address the problem of this downloading illegal music at the surface level because they didn't understand that at the very deep root of culture are assumptions that make up a culture. Assumptions. They are uncontestable, undebatable, and just there. The person that best describes this is a writer by the name of Clay Shirky, who penned the book Cognitive Surplus, and said, culture is not an agglomeration of individual behaviors. It is a collection of accepted norms and assumptions. Society must change assumed and learned behaviors before they take on new behaviors and norms. All of you sitting here today hail from one of the great many Toastmaster clubs within Tampa Bay. All of you know exactly what it takes to be a fantastic Toastmaster. the commitment to be a member, to show up to meetings, to take on roles, to applaud at the very right places, to execute your roles exquisitely so that everybody who are outsiders can say, wow, those people know how to put on a great show. Well, for those of us, those are very easy things that we have learned through the process of being Toastmasters. Would it be surprising to tell you that we, as Toastmasters, are a culture of expert orators and leaders? However, for people who are on the outside, looking in, the fishbowl that we easily navigate around, jumping from fishbowl to fishbowl, delivering speeches at a whim, with no worry, they look at us in shock and awe, and sometimes very frightened at what we can do because they don't understand our culture. No, sir, we're not a cult. No, sir, we don't sell pharmaceuticals that make us extremely enthusiastic or happy about doing public speaking. It's our culture. Sitting today before me, all of you, are new members of the Advanced Articulators Club, previously known as Das Toastmasters, and you have the privilege today of helping to shape the culture of this Advanced Toastmasters Club. So I ask you, the new members of the Advanced Articulators, what will it be that we do that we make our culture of this Advanced Club so different than all the hundreds of Toastmasters Club that surround us, for them to want to choose us above all of them? What is it that's going to be part of our norms that will make us want to help and evaluate better so that we pinpoint with laser precision all the areas that any speaker has to improve upon to get to that next level? What are going to be the beliefs and tenets that we show others that will produce the next world champion of public speaking? I would like to inaccurately quote one of the best lecturer and orators of our time, John F. Kennedy, who obviously wanted to show us that he too was also somebody who understood culture by saying, "Ich bin ein Toastmeister." Thank you.